All right. Good morning, everyone. This is Katie Metz, and this is our weekly coffee chat with Katie and Catherine. I'm not sure if Catherine's going to be able to make it today, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Katie Metz. I am a double diamond from Wantage, New Jersey. I got started with It Works 2 years ago. I was approached about the wrap from a family member who was considering the business. I think at the time she might have just started, and she had lost her job. The other company that she was with was going out of business, and she needed to make some extra income, and she knew that I was working full-time and I was going to school full-time, and I was also trying to lose weight. And I was going to the gym. I was really, really sick. I had really bad acid reflux, ulcers, kidney stones, you name it. And she had told me about the wraps, and I thought, we'll see, I'll try it. And but I was really intrigued about our greens, which are 8 servings of fruits and veggies. They help alkalize the body, detoxify the body, and I just thought if I can get my body back to a normal pH and feeling better, that would mean the world to me. So I got started. I tried a wrap. I didn't really get great results in 45 minutes, but I did get great results the next morning. And I was so excited because I hadn't seen my stomach look like that. It had been so swollen and so bloated from being so sick. And I was just so excited of what happened overnight that I just started talking about it to everybody. And I really wasn't looking for a business, but I really was looking to try the product for free or at a discount. And I just thought, maybe I'll just be a customer because we have an awesome loyal customer program. But I really couldn't afford even to be a customer. So I thought if I could just make an extra $200 a month with this, that would be amazing. So I got started and I tried it, and you know what? I just never looked back. I signed up the next day after my shift at work. I actually did it right in my car. I had a list of people that were interested, and I just went to work. And within a month, I was able to leave my full-time job and focus solely on school. Now, this is all I do full-time. I'm done with school. I was able to move out with my now fiancé. We're getting married next year. And life looks a lot different than it did when I first started, that's for sure. But I don't want to talk about myself anymore. We have some really awesome guests on the line. And I want to just see if, Catherine, were you able to get on? No. All right. Well, I'm going to take it out to our guests. We have some really, really good friends of mine, some sidelines that I love that we all work together. So I'm going to take it out to Lisa Tolbert. Lisa, are you there?
I'm here.
Good morning. Thank you so much for getting on the call. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, talk about kind of why you got started with It Works and how you found it?
Sure. My name is Lisa Tolbert, and I am a Diamond Executive from Eagle Lake, Minnesota. And I actually got started through Facebook. A friend of mine that I had met at a vendor show, she had joined, and I had tried a wrap, and I didn't really follow any instructions that she had given me. And so I didn't get great results. And I thought, oh, boy, this isn't really going to work for me. So that was that, and I just didn't really think about it again, but I was friends with her on Facebook, and I kept watching her results. So a few months went by, and then it was almost a year later. I thought, well, maybe I just didn't give this, a fair shot. Maybe I should try it again. So I gave her a call, and I said, I think that I want to do this. So we talked a little bit, and she said, let me know how much it costs. And she said, and for $40 more, you can sign up to be a distributor, and that's the only way that you can make money at it. I, like you, I had no intentions of making this a business, but I thought, well, it's only $40 more, so why not? I didn't tell anybody that I was doing this. When the wraps came, I tried them, and I took my pictures, and even on the first two, I didn't see much, but 24 hours after my third wrap, it was insane, the results that I saw, and I thought, wow, this is incredible. And so I started posting on Facebook after I knew that it was going to work. I didn't post my own photo right away. I just posted other before and afters from our team and got a lot of interest right away. I had used my 4 wraps, and I posted on Facebook that I had a few to sell. I only had 4, and I sold 7 within about 10 minutes. And I thought, wow, this is really going to be something, I think. And then I posted my own photo, but I didn't say it was me. And just from the people who know me well, within 30 minutes, I had phone calls, messages, and texts of people asking it was me. And I couldn't lie, so I told them it was, but I still didn't publicly admit to my before and after picture on Facebook. And then my cousin Michelle called me, and she said, I think I want to do this. And I said, okay, do you want to be a loyal customer or do you want to be a distributor? And she said, I think I want to be a distributor. And I was like, oh, my goodness. And so I told my husband after I got off the phone with her, I said, I just have the childlike faith that this is going to be the thing that's going to change our life. And he just kind of smiled, and, you know, I hadn't really talked to him all that much about it. I joined It Works. It will be a year on September 26th. And I was fortunate to get the $10,000 get out of debt bonus in April. And since I started, it took off. Just kind of like for you, Katie, I had a list of people that were interested, and it has just been amazing. I resigned from my full-time job after 8 years, and my last day is actually July 10th. With the cost of our daycare going up and with what I'm able to make from It Works, just in my commissions, not including the other ways we get paid, I'm able to stay home with my 2 little girls, and they are so excited. And we've been talking about how, you know, this crazy wrap thing has really been able to bring me home. So it's just been such a blessing. I've met so many wonderful people, including you. And it's a business like no other. The job that I left was very competitive, and people, you know, just stepping all over each other to get ahead. And this is the complete opposite of that. From the very beginning, I almost thought it was going to be too good to be true, because everybody just seemed so over the top supportive and wanting to help and wanting everybody to do better. And until I had, you know, a few experiences with it, I just, you know, you can almost not believe it, because people really are part of a team, and it's one team, one mission, and everybody is willing to help. And that is one of the things that I love the most about this business, is that no matter where you are, no matter whose event it is, people are so supportive, and that's just incredible. So that's kind of where it is. I'm so excited to be going to the Green Carpet Experience in a couple weeks here and tour the new home office and go down the slide. And that is just incredible. I left one of the probably, I don't know if it's the biggest company in the world, but it's got to be pretty high on the list, and that company is not debt-free. I had a good friend, we were talking about this, and they said, you know, how do you think It Works can have the compensation plan that they have? And I said, oh, because they're debt-free. You know, you look at the company that I was working for and the company that this other person was working for, and they're not debt-free. And, you know, shareholders come first, not distributors, you know, not the people who are on the front lines. It's always, you know, paying the interest on those loans and paying those loans back and returning to the shareholders. And the employees kind of come last. So that's another thing that I really love about It Works.
So true. And I think, like, that's such a rare thing with, you know, the economy the way that it is. I don't think that a lot of companies can be debt-free, let alone be projected at $1 billion this year in sales. I just think that's, you know, it's so unheard of. And there's, you know, as impressive and big as all that sounds, I mean, I know here, and I'm sure you guys get it too, I still go out and people have no idea about it. Have you been noticing that too?
Right. It is. Well, we're not a new company, but if you think about other direct sales companies, everybody knows about them. So everybody started and had the same thing with their company. In our area, it's starting to get a little more. If you ask somebody, have you heard of It Works? They say, yeah. And then you say, have you tried it? Well, not yet. So we're definitely not a household name yet, but we will be. And that's why it's just such a perfect time that we all came in on the ground floor, and there's still time.
Absolutely. And, a company like this only grows one time. So I guess I would like for you to just say one tip that you have, maybe for someone who is just getting started in the business, thinking about getting started, or maybe they're just looking at us and not really sure what their next step should be. What is a tip that you can give them?
There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. We all do the same thing every single month. We do the steps to success, and step number 1, we join the party and run our 80 BV auto ship. Step number 2, we go out and share this with 4 loyal customers every month. And step number 3 is we find 3 people to bless with this business opportunity and teach them how to do those steps to success and just have fun doing it. I mean, it really is fun. We have a product that I am 110% behind, a company that is 1,000% behind us, and I'm passionate and believe about both of those. And I think when you have all of those things, that people are just naturally going to be attracted to it. And it's not for everybody, and that's okay, but it's for probably 95% of the people that I know, because everybody wants what we have. And so that would be my tip.
I love it. That's so true. And I think, there's so many other products that we have, not just the wrap, that are just equally as amazing, and I think you're right, there is something for everyone. So thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you so much for getting on so early. I really appreciate it. And, I just know that your story is going to impact a lot of people. So thank you.
Well, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I'm going to take it out to Melissa. Are you still there, Melissa?
I am here.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am good. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and talk a little bit about how you got started with It Works?
Sure. My name is Melissa Rice, and I'm a diamond executive from Hillsborough, New Jersey. Been with the company about 18 months now. My story looks a little different than Lisa's. I actually had a friend of mine who had been posting on Facebook for a while about her wraps and about It Works, and I was very skeptical. I actually never really gave it too much thought at all. And if anything, maybe the greens kind of piqued my interest here and there a little bit, but really never gave a second thought about the wraps. And it was my husband, who at the time didn't have his own Facebook account, so he was always creeping on mine. And he was the one that was like, can you call your friend and get one of those wraps? I'm like, no, they don't work. Like, stop eating Oreos, go to the gym, and you'll, lose some of that belly weight that you're worried about. So, I just kind of dismissed it. And this went on for a couple months. And then, one day my husband came home and found out he was getting a pretty substantial pay cut. Now, I'm a stay-at-home mom of 4 kids. Our kids are 10, 8, 7, and 3. So, needless to say, we're on a very tight budget, and it was always our dream for me to be home with our children. That's, why we had such a big family. It was super important to us, and it was just, in that moment when he came home, it was just starting to look like, might not be able to be the case anymore, and I just was not willing to give up on that. So first thing that popped in my mind was that crazy wrap thing. I had never even tried the wrap. I had no interest in the wrap, but I was like, you know what? My friend had been doing her due diligence and kind of checking in with me monthly, saying, you ready to try a wrap out? Are you ready to have a party? So I just messaged her. And she just happened to say that Cammie Dempsey was coming in from Michigan that weekend if I was interested in just maybe coming in and trying a wrap out. And I went, and I tried a wrap out for the first time. And, I love the way that it felt, but it was really just the energy in that room and hearing about the company and the products and realizing it was so much more than a wrap. And, immediately I knew it was something that I wanted to be a part of. As all this has been going on, I'm a very healthy person my whole life. I always try to live very holistically and things like that. And I've been struggling with my own health. And I started on the greens immediately, and they really just changed my life. So I signed up after trying my first wrap, and I was so excited. I had my launch party, and I remember calling my upline from the bathroom crying and just saying, don't even bother. I invited all these people. Nobody's coming. And she's like, I'm coming. I don't care if it's just me and you sitting at that table. And, it was Thanksgiving weekend when I joined, and so nobody was really willing to have a party, for me at that time because it was the holidays, and I know that that's a busy time. So, my family really wanted nothing to do with it at first, so I just said, you know what, I am not giving up on me or my family. At that point, I had wrapped myself weekly, and I kind of just, wrapped at my house every week and just got wraps on people, and my business started taking off. And like Lisa said, at first I really didn't tell a lot of people, as far as, because my feelings were hurt, if I'm being completely honest, because I remember leaving that meeting, calling my cousin who I knew would love this product, so excited, and she was just like, oh, I've heard of that, it doesn't work. And I remember feeling so deflated, and I was just like, you know what, I'm not going to let this stop me. My family is too important to me. So I just kind of reached out to friends and my kids' networks and stuff. So by the time Christmas came and I showed up to my family's house on Christmas, I was down a pant size. And everybody's like, oh, my gosh, you look incredible. What are you doing? And then once I told them, then January, my business really just took off. So it has been a blessing for my family. I think that it's important to understand that people do want this product, and it wasn't ideal for me starting out, but I can't imagine my life without this right now, and the income that it can provide, and we're not just talking like pizza money, like paying your mortgage type paychecks that are coming through, and still being able to keep my family priority and be home with my children. I absolutely love it, and so I just my heart aches for people who I see join this business and really just let a couple people get in their way before they ever really get going. Because it, like I said, I never knew about this industry, and I think that we go to school and we're taught that we have to, get a job when we get older, and that's just how life has to be, and it doesn't at all. And when I found out about this whole industry, I felt like I was a whole underground world I'd missed out on my whole life. And so now, I'm so passionate about it, and I do talk to everybody about it because I want everybody to know that it exists. And I think a lot of people don't realize that they have this option. And, for me, it's to be able to stay home with my children. But, there's people on my team who have full-time jobs. And like Lisa was saying, that corporate world is cutthroat. And they just like knowing, you know what, I have this on the side. I'm doing this and having this separate business because it's that just extra security because they can, one girl on my team has, I think, survived 17 layoffs. She might not survive the next one, so just knowing they have that plan B. So I think it's something that everybody should really just try out at some point, in their life because it's fun and exciting, and I think a lot of people don't understand it and really realize how lucrative it could be.
Absolutely. And I think, too, a lot of people look at something like this and they just look, oh, you can make a couple extra $100. Like, that's all I thought when I first started. I'm like, I'd be happy with some book money and some product money, and, like, that would be great. But I don't think people realize the kind of life-changing thing that this can turn into if you just work it part-time around your life. Like, so. No,
they don't. And I remember even sitting with my upline the day of my launch party, and she said, what's your goal? And I remember pulling that income chart out. And when she asked me that, I looked, and I knew about $2,000 a month is what I needed to kind of pay our property taxes and my girls' gymnastics. Their competitive gymnastics is very expensive. And I remember looking at that saying, well, that's my goal. I know I'll never do it. But like you're saying, but even if I can get $500 a month, it's a chunk of that. And to now know, to be at that rank where that income's coming, it's mind-blowing. It really is because, I was looking at it and seeing people around me. Like I said, obviously, these are people that I'd seen on Facebook that were friends of mine that were doing phenomenal. But I still didn't, think it could really happen.
Exactly. And I think once you get that face behind that, like, goal and you just go for it and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to go for it, it's amazing. You just pick up steam and it just kind of happens. It's amazing.
It is.
So I guess just one last question, but because I know you did kind of mention that you've done direct sales sort of before. How does this differ from other companies out there? Like, how is this different from the direct sales that you were doing before?
Oh, my gosh. It's like comparing apples to oranges. It's really not even the same. But I did. So I did direct sales. Mainly, I had my first 3 children in 3 years. So I did direct sales when they were about 4, 2, and 1. Not even when I started, they were 3, 1, and a couple months old. And I think at that point, for me, I was home with 3 small kids, and I got into direct sales because I really just wanted to get out of the house at night for a little bit and be around some adults and things like that. So that's really what my first run with direct sales was. And I loved it, but I have to say it really started to stress my family out because I had to be out of the house, like 4 nights a week doing these parties, and that got to be tough, and I was missing out, on family parties on the weekends because everybody wanted Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday parties, and it really was defeating the purpose that I wanted to be home with my children for. And I was going out. I used to sell homewares, and I loved it. I decorated my house, and it was beautiful. But I would lug bins into the car and set up for an hour, and then the next morning I'd have to start all over, right? Because how many wreaths are people actually going to purchase from you? So, it got to be I was putting in a lot of work for the little bit of money that I was bringing home, and my husband recognized that, but he also knew it was part of my sanity at that point. So, it just got to the point where it just got to be too much for my family. With It Works, my gosh, it's so different in so many different ways. First of all, I think the one thing that a lot of people overlook is our comp plan. By getting paid the 5 different ways, it really helps in that beginning stages, like we were saying. First of all, it's that residual income. So I am not starting over after every single time I talk to somebody with my business because they're using my products, they're falling in love with them, and they're continuing to order them month after month. I'm still getting paid on work I did 18 months ago, which blows my mind. But it's still, when I think about it, it's just like, oh my gosh. So, that in and of itself is just enough, of a difference between that and kind of the business I was in before. But, with that as well, with getting paid those 5 different ways, I think, they tell us all the time, just give us a year. And I think with It Works, what's so nice about it is a lot of people when they start this business, like Lisa said, we have that awesome 3-step program that we just follow every month, which I love. And I think step 3 can be a step that a lot of people struggle with, and that's, finding people to bless this opportunity with. And I think because a lot of people, Pam Sauter always says, get over yourself. I think so many people are afraid to approach people about the business because they're going to think like, oh, they're just worried about what people are going to think of them, or maybe even the rejection. I'm not really sure what it is. But the nice thing about It Works is even when you have somebody first coming on, they're making money through the Loyal Customer Program. They're making wrap cash. So money is starting to come in immediately. I had a girl who joined my team who, her goal, she was with another direct selling company, which she had been with for years, and she made $500 a month doing that, and she loved it. But she had started using our products and fell in love with them and decided that, she wanted to give It Works a try. And she said, my goal is going to be $500 a month so that I can leave that other job. And she did that in her first month just in wrap cash,
Wow.
not even with her commission. So I think the other thing that really sets It Works apart is that it doesn't happen in a lot of other companies. So as that starts to build your confidence right away, and then you realize, like Lisa said, she has that mindset that it is a blessing. And then they step out of that fear and talk to people about the business, and because they are excited immediately because they're like, you know what, like we just said, wow, this is really working. I'm making money. It's making a difference in my family. I want to bless you with that. And I think that is a little slower in other industries because we don't have those, you really, I know at least what I was doing, you needed to have a team before you really started to see that life-changing income. So I think that's one of the things that we really look about It Works a lot is just that ability, and I think that that's why people do so well. I mean, people do love the products, and I could talk about the products all day long, and people do want them, and people are buying what we have anyway, at a lower quality and higher price, and we just have so much to offer. But I think really at the end of the day, that making money is what builds their confidence, and then that gets their excitement up, and then that gets them sharing the business opportunity with people. And I think that's why people that have tried this industry before sometimes and haven't done well do so well with this, because like Lisa said, people will call you and come after you and say, I think I want to do this. And that's just a whole different ball game. So, I mean, obviously you can tell I'm just so passionate about it works, and because I have done, with other companies, and I really do see the difference, and I share it with everybody because I just see the blessing that it is.
Oh, and I just love that, and I just love your energy, and I think that's what people feed off of. And same with you, Lisa. Like, people just feel that, and they feel how real you are and how excited you are, and there's nothing like excitement. You don't have to know everything. You just have to be excited about what you do know, and it does take off with that. And I just thank you guys both so much. I'm so excited. I'm pumped up listening to both of you guys. I love it. So thank you so much. Catherine, were you able to make it on? I don't know if I heard her chime in at all. No? All right. Well, I'm going to go over real quickly, again, those 3 steps in getting started. So step 1 is joining the party. You can start for as little as $99. That comes with 4 wraps in your kit that you can sell for $25 or $30, depending on what you want to charge. And you make your money back right away, which I love. So you're starting right off the bat, no risk investment, just $99. And depending on how many people you think you might be wrapping in your first 30 days, there are 2 discounted booster packs. There's one that's available just on enrollment. It's a mini booster. It comes with everything that you need to get started, including things that you can sample, and you get those at a severe discount, which I love. And there's a bigger boost option. And when I got started, I did start with that bigger boost because, like I had said, I had a list of people that were waiting to be wrapped. As soon as I got started, I knew that I needed products because I could not keep them in my hands long enough. And I knew in my first 30 days I'd be wrapping a lot. So I do recommend boosting if it's in your budget, just because then you're in the profit zone right away. Instead of breaking even, you're right in the profit zone right away. And then step 2 is getting those wraps on people. So you're going to go ahead, you're going to schedule a time to get together with some of your friends and family a few months or a few times in the first month that you're getting started. You're going to have a launch party, and someone's going to come and they're going to help you. And you're going to get 4 loyal customers in your first 30 days. And if you do that, the company gives you $120 in free product credit. And that was my goal when I started. I wanted to try that product on myself, get a testimony so people could see how the product is changing my life. And some people will get 2 boxes of wraps with that, and then you could sell those 2 boxes and make $200 in cash that you didn't even have to pay for, which I think is amazing. And then step 3 is, like Melissa said, going ahead and finding 3 people to bless with this business that you can bring in. You're going to help them get their 4 loyal customers in their first 30 days. And if you do that in your first 60 days, the company will guarantee you a minimum income of $500, which I think is amazing. If you don't make that, they make up the difference. And those steps do work. You do usually make about that as long as you follow those 3 steps. And then you're just going to repeat. You're just going to talk about your business. You're going to wrap people, and you're going to repeat those steps month after month after month. And it's amazing how quickly your business will take off if you just follow that system. And right now, if you join before the end of July, there's a $10,000 get-out-of-debt bonus. Like we were saying, the company is debt-free, so they want their distributors to also be debt-free. So what it is a $10,000 bonus by achieving the rank of diamond. You can get back with the person who invited you to this call, and they'll go over all the details. But if you make the rank of diamond in your first 3 full calendar months, which you actually have until the end of, I forget what month it is, but you get pretty much like a whole extra month since you're joining in the beginning of the month. And what that's going to do is an extra $400 a month for 25 months on top of your commission. And I know that has paid off some student loan debt for me. I know other people are paying off their cars. They're paying off their credit card debt. And it can go towards whatever you want it to go towards for that extra $400 a month. And unlike getting a trip or a car in another company, it works pays you cash, which I think is amazing. So if you're thinking of getting started and wanting to try a wrap, get back with the person who invited you to this call. They definitely care about you. They wouldn't be inviting you to take a look at this if they didn't think it was something that was worth looking at for you. And I just thank you so much for your time, especially on this holiday weekend. I hope you guys enjoy your Saturday. It's beautiful here in New Jersey. And just thank you guys for your time. Right before we go, though, I just want one last closing thought from my two guests. So, Lisa, I'm going to take it back to you if you're still with me. Just one last little closing thought before we go.
My last closing thought is if you're thinking about this business at all, just do it. I mean, you sell those 4 wraps like Katie said, and so it is risk-free. And there's not much out there in this world that really is risk-free. So I would say earn your independence and give it a try.
I love
it. Thank you, Katie, for having me on.
Oh, thank you so much for getting on. Melissa, how about you? Do you have one last little tip?
Yeah, I think, for anybody who's thinking, about this business, I think it's something that, like I said before, that everybody should give a try. And outside of the money, I've learned more about myself in the past 18 months than I have my whole life. And, that's spilled over. It's made me a better mother. It's made me a better wife. It's made me a better daughter. So much about what you learn in this industry, and especially when you have a team and just learning about becoming a leader, that spills over into everything that you do. Anybody who's a mom, you're a leader. Even if you're, even Katie, with just having a fiance, let's face it, men need guidance all the time. So, you need to be a leader even if you just own a husband. So, I think that's another part that's really overlooked that is probably my favorite part of this industry is you grow as a person, and you should be investing in yourself anyway. I feel almost like I should be paying to be in this business. I say to my husband all the time, from what I've learned, and it's better than any college course I ever could have taken or anything like that. So, and just invest in yourself, if for nothing else, even if the wrap part of it doesn't end up working out for you, which I know it will, so I can say that with confidence, it will help you grow into such a better version of yourself. And I think that, who doesn't want that?
So true. So true. I love it.
Thanks for having us on this beautiful Saturday.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I can't wait for green carpet. It's going to be awesome. So I will see you guys very soon and give you a big hug. Thank you so much for being on the call today, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.